Well, welcome back. Hopefully you saw the first video in our segment where Gina the Gemologist, she's also a stylist and appraiser, talked about trying to identify the difference between costume jewelry and precious jewelry. Hi, my name is Sherry Curley. I'm also known as the Practical Sort because I provide practical home organizing solutions in an eco-friendly way. I'm also an organizing motivator and speaker and writer. And Gina is back with me here today, and I'm so grateful. And you're probably wondering, why is an organizer talking to a gemologist? Well, I'll tell you, in my job, I come across jewelry all the time, whether it's an estate clear out, whether somebody's downsizing and they're also thinking about downsizing their jewelry collection. Having Gina in my back pocket is an amazing resource because she is so knowledgeable. And one of the things that I want to tap into her brain about today is appraisals. Whether we all need to have appraisals, what are those used for, and also tap into a little bit about insurance for our jewelry. So if you wouldn't mind, Gina, take it away about appraisals and insurance.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that introduction. It's so great to be back for round 2 and talking about appraisals. So there's 2 types of appraisals. There's the insurance replacement, like if you purchase a brand new ring or piece of jewelry, and usually if it's valued at like $3,000 or more, it's recommended to get it insured on a separate rider of your homeowner's or renter's insurance. Now the reason for that is, heaven forbid anything goes wrong, lost, stolen, they even have mysterious disappearance, and protect your jewelry that you just invested in. You bought a pair of beautiful diamond earrings, and 5 years from now, you lose one, you can get one matched to the other one or buy a new set, but your insurance company has a way of helping you alleviate in buying that whole other earring again, because things do happen. And I find that a lot of people that have their jewelry insured wear their jewelry and enjoy it more because they have that in the back of their mind. I'm covered, I'm just going to enjoy and wear this piece. And that is what I really recommend.
So are you saying our regular insurance wouldn't normally cover all of our jewelry?
No, it has to have a separate rider, just like if you had like rare guns or a car or a boat. Those are all separate entities that have their own kind of rules of what happens, how does it get replaced, and what is the percentage you would be out of pocket. It's traumatic anyway if you lose a piece of jewelry that you love that has a meaning and a purpose to it. So that's already like a sensitive topic, and then going through getting it replaced through the insurance company. But that's something I like to help my clients with because, emotional support with those things is helpful.
I'll tell you, I do remember as a child, my mom coming home from a coat shopping trip, and she was in tears. And it turned out she lost her engagement ring.
Oh.
They couldn't find it. And the emotional toll was so strong, but yet they had that peace of mind that her ring was covered by the insurance. She did get a replacement. Of course, it doesn't have that same meaning, but that was one less thing they had to worry about. So let me make sure I understand you correctly. With a rider, you itemize each piece separately. You don't just do a blanket policy and say, all my rings, all my necklace, they're all covered, right?
That's correct. Yeah. So each piece has to have a separate appraisal. So you could have one appraisal with 5 different items in it. Like that's how I do it for my clients. But any pieces of jewelry that you would want to have insured has to have an appraisal. And anytime you change insurance, it has to be an updated appraisal within the last 18 months.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Could you also explain, so recently I had a piece of jewelry appraised and I bought it at that store. And not only did it take a lot of time, it was a little more than I expected it to be price-wise. Shed some light, if you will, on, these aren't a 5-minute thing where they just write up, oh, you have a diamond. It's a little deeper, right?
Yeah. So in terms of on the appraising side, like each appraisal probably takes anywhere from like 2 to 3 hours to do, because there's the grading it and measuring and weighing and analyzing and looking at it under magnification and testing to confirm that it is what they were sold or it is what the receipt said, because jewelry is very subjective and it's based on someone's level of experience. Are they a newer gemologist? Are they a newer appraiser? There's all different varying levels of that. Then it's the research of finding how much would it cost to replace that in today's market. As most of us have been watching, gold keeps on the rise, which is really great for in terms of increasing the value of rings and things like that. But also it's like it would cost more to make something today than it did 6 months ago, just because the gold prices have gone up from 1,500 to over 2,000 now. So those are the things that we're analyzing, but also as an appraiser, it's my job to make sure that you're properly insured, but not over-insured. Because, you know, if you spent $3,000 on a piece 6 months ago, and then now it's worth $3,800, if I priced it at $5,000, you would be over-insured.
The appraisal, some of the times, maybe even most of the time, may not exactly equate to the purchase price.
Correct. Yeah, it's usually always more because just the cost of labor is always changing.
Okay.
And materials and supplies and gold and, you know, things like that. So yeah, there's a lot to consider, and that's the fun part. I love the analyzing part of it to make sure that it's in the best interest of the client and making sure that they're protected.
Well, that is a good segue into our next video, because in our next video, we're going to talk about selling jewelry, because when our clients may be in a situation where either they're downsizing or they inherited jewelry that might not really mesh with their style and they have no interest in holding on to it, how value is going to, say, translate to the selling price. Gina, as always, this has just been so enlightening for me, and I hope it's going to be enlightening for our audience members too. But the best way for it to be enlightening for them is to figure out a way to reach you, because I know they're going to want to talk to you themselves. How do they reach out to you?
Yeah, my website is Gina, Gina, thegemologist.com. And they can also find me on Instagram at Gina the Gemologist as well.
Actually, I owe another way to reach you. I believe you've got some videos on YouTube too, don't you?
I do. I have quite a few, from anywhere from inventorying your jewelry to, you know, how to clean your diamond earrings. And that's also Gina the Gemologist, my YouTube channel.
Inventorying jewelry, that's something we're going to probably have to talk about one day too, because that's something else that I encounter. But I want to thank you, Gina, once again for being here. I want to thank you all for tuning in, and watch for our next segment about coming to terms with selling jewelry, how to price it, you know, what kind of markets to go to, etc. Again, Gina, thank you, and thank you all. Bye-bye.